Hey guys, so it's that time of year again. It's getting close to the end of the year, and I thought I would do a sort of year in review, especially because, well, it's not a full year that I've been uploading videos, but I wanted to share with you my story regarding how I got into ASMR, how I decided to start making videos, and stuff like that, and look back on what I've done in this past year, and give you some idea of what I want to venture out into in the future, and also give you guys an opportunity to sort of give me some feedback, I guess. So if there's an idea that I have that you don't like or you really like, you can totally say something about it. Anyway, so I discovered ASMR in September of 2012, so about a year and a bit ago, and I discovered it actually on Reddit. For those of you who use Reddit, you know this, but I was just sort of pressing the random button, looking to see what I can find, and a friend of mine were going back and forth and talking about all the weirdest subreddits we were finding, and I found ASMR. And I clicked the first video I found, and to this day I have not been able to find that video, but it was an unintentional video, an experimental music video of sorts, with rain sticks and paint, and I think some sort of interpretive dance going on. I don't remember the full extent of it, but it was incredible and so tingle-inducing, and I thought, wow, this is incredible. I wonder, what is this? Where does it come from? You know, I'm a psychology student, as I've mentioned in a few of my videos. And so, it really made me curious about the phenomenon. And then as I sort of delved into it, I found myself getting wrapped up by this community that was so warm and loving. I just got soaked into it in a way. So quite some time passed before I actually ever filmed anything. In May of 2013, this past year, I finally decided, okay, I want to test my voice and see if I am able to make ASMR videos. And this is partly because a few of you might know me in person. Those who do know that my voice is very naturally loud. In fact, it's a bit embarrassing to say, but I didn't really know how to whisper, like actually whisper, until I was, I want to say like maybe even in middle school, but between 10 and 12, I could speak softly, but I couldn't actually whisper, which is why a lot of the time when I'm whispering, my voice will go into a soft-spoken thing. But anyway, being a very naturally loud person, I assumed that I wouldn't be able to trigger people, and I wanted to test it. So I borrowed a friend's mic to record myself saying The Tiger, the poem by William Blake. And I got a good amount of feedback on that, most largely from Reddit and from people who I sent it to. I first posted it on SoundCloud, and then I just made it into a video on YouTube with just the audio and just an image, just because at first I didn't really want to show my face. And it was actually largely my friend who helped me put it together, so I have to thank him for that. But after that, I became really busy with finals and graduation and stuff like that, so I didn't actually do anything else until July. And by that point, I found myself really missing poetry. When I was in college, I was a pretty big part of the slam poetry community at my college. And so every other week we would have poetry slams, and I would go to almost all of them and read my poems, and On top of that, I had taken classes in creative writing and poetry, so I had a lot of other friends who I could discuss poetry with. And suddenly, after graduating, I found that I couldn't really go to slams anymore. I moved back home, and there wasn't a college that was as huge into poetry, and poetry slam wasn't as big of a thing in my hometown as it was where I went to college. So I found myself greatly missing out on that. And so I decided to start recording videos with my poetry. And so I recorded my first video on this very phone that I still use, titled Precious Poetry, just out of a little green journal that I had written some old poems in. And I got a lot of good feedback on that too. It's currently sitting at somewhere around almost 200, 300 views. So that's about 200, 300 more than I expected. I just posted it on Reddit and on my Facebook page, but I really expected that only my friends would see it, and that, it would just be my poet friends saying, oh, hey, yeah, I've heard this poem before, and not really much else, but it was really an interesting experience. It's completely different from the experience of slam poetry. Part of the reason why I did this also is that slam poetry is very loud, and and that's one of the reasons why I think I did pretty well at it, is it's something where your voice needs to boom, it needs to carry. You need to be able to escalate your voice as you escalate the poem. Whereas I found with whispering, you can't really do that. You have to convey a lot of emotion without using very much volume. And that made it tricky, and that made it interesting for me. And on top of that, I found that while slam poetry can be cathartic in a sort of release of energy way, whispering my poems it was a lot more cathartic in a sort of calming me down sort of way. So I started making more videos, I kind of wanted to stretch out the poems in my little journal, so I started doing poems that I found written by other people, since there were quite a few people who liked my version of The Tiger. And then I did excerpts from books, and then I have done a couple other videos that were sort of different from that, but I started branching out and I think delving a little bit more into the ASMR side of things rather than just poetry. And I found myself falling in love with this community in a strange and interesting way. I know that it might sound a bit strange coming from me, given that I'm so new to this, and there are far better and far, I guess, more experienced ASMR artists out there, people who use all sorts of graphics and technology and cuts and audio editing and film with an actual microphone and a camera rather than just a smartphone. But that really makes me appreciate those of you who do watch my videos and those of you who do actually pay attention, because in our world today, attention it's a commodity, in a sense, Advertising is proof of that. People will pay for your attention. And to this date, I have 57 subscribers, over 7,000 views, almost 30 videos, and that's in the space of a little less than 6 months. It's incredible. I have videos with around 800 views. I have had cases where people have requested videos of mine, have asked me questions, have referenced past videos in the comments to another video, which is very strange, but I love it, you know? I love this sense of having people to give back to, and very specific people, you know, not just a blanket audience. And, you know, maybe it will sort of reach that point if and when I manage to grow this channel. But I kind of like it, having this. I mean, hundreds of people is still a large amount of people, but I really like it. Every time someone comments on one of my videos, I get all sorts of happy inside. Every time, you know, I hear back from someone, anything like that. Now, looking into the videos that I've done in the past, I've tried to analyze which videos are the most popular, and I do not know what to make of it, to be honest. My most popular video to this date is about my tea, and I didn't think that was gonna be that interesting. It might just be the tingles, which I can totally understand. Tea leaves are totally tingle-inducing. But I don't know, like, I came into this community as more of a poet than an ASMR artist. So I am still trying to find my way, but I don't know. It's sort of interesting to see what you guys will click on, what you guys like. And again, that's also partly the psychologist in me, you know, looking at my top videos. It's tea, Hindu mythology in second, sock market in third, how to make Indian tea in fourth, and Clockwork Orange in fifth. And Clockwork Orange is a pretty recent video, so that might also be part of that my more recent videos are getting more attention than my older ones, because up until that point my Precious Poetry video was quite far up there, until it got sort of until my new videos started becoming more popular. And again, that might be because I'm getting better at it, or that might just be because I have actual subscribers, which I still am a little bit shocked by. But it's nice. To me, a subscriber is just one person saying, hey, yeah, I can spend like about, 15 minutes twice a week with you. And I don't know, it seems like just a video to some people, but to me it's like having a friend. I don't know, that's awfully Luna Lovegood of me to say, but it's like having a friend. And I'd like to hear from more of you, you know? Anyway, looking into the future, I've had a couple people ask about this, but yeah, the popularity of my sock market roleplay is making me inclined to do other roleplays. However, given that I am the kind of person that I am, I feel like I am not likely to do the stereotypical cranial nerve exam. If I do one, it'll be different from the norm. But the ideas that I have include some sort of palm reading thing, since that's something I used to look into a lot. Maybe a tea leaf reading, because I want to do more tea type videos, since you guys seem to like that. And I had an idea for like a post-concussion type roleplay, like how many fingers am I holding up? But I don't know. I'm definitely going to continue into doing more of my poetry. I want to start doing that next week when I get back from my trip. And I want to play with sound a little bit more. I'm not sure quite how to get into that, but I figure with my videos such as my tour of tea, the things on my desk, if I approach it from a let's show you the stuff that I have in my house perspective, then I can slowly ease my way into figuring out what sorts of things are tingle-inducing rather than just sort of tapping on every wooden surface that I find in my house. Anyway. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. This video is 15 minutes of 15 minutes of rambling. To be honest, every single one of my videos could be tagged with rambling because I just ramble so much. And yet it still amazes me that people actually want to listen to the things that I have to ramble about. So, thank you. Especially to those of you that make it to the end of this video. I always worry that people just stop after the first minute and then, it records as a view, and I'm thinking, hey, I have hundreds of views, but it's all just 1 minute. But anyway, thank you. Thank you so much. This community has done so much for me in encouraging me to make these videos as well as providing me with content, because it's like therapy, not just to listen, because those of you who listen to these videos a lot know that how therapeutic it can be to listen to relaxing sounds or a relaxing voice, but it's also therapeutic to just talk to a camera and know that someone's listening. We don't get much of that in today's world, and it's really nice. Alright, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Goodbye to 2013, and I will see you next year in 2014. Bye, guys. Thanks.